You ready for a nap?
Yes, I'm so tired.
I know. Thanks, Hayden.
It's so hot.
I know. I don't know why it turned off. What's up, NineTen? How we doing? Doing all right? Doing okay? Hey, if I haven't met you, my name's Hayden. I'm the one of the NineTen pastors here. I'm so excited for us in this next year for you 8th graders to be 9th graders, which seems weird. How many of you feel weird about that? Like you're called a freshman, you're in high school, okay? This is your last year or your last school that you have to attend for 4 years. Is that scary to think about for a second? Okay. Sophomores, you're 2 more years away. 2 more years away from graduating high school. And then you're an adult, which that's weird too. And you're going to get your license this year. I'm just trying to scare you, overwhelm you a little bit. But hey, I'm excited to get to know you guys. One thing about me, just to let you know, is I hate group chats. Anybody like group chats? Okay, you like what do you like about a group chat? You would. Do you spam?
No.
Oh, okay. You seem like you would. What do you like about it? You just like them? Everyone's connected, everyone's talking? You like spam? You do. You do. You're the reason why I hate them. How many of you immediately put on silent? Okay, you're in a group chat, you see multiple names, you're like, silent, boom. Or how many of you leave the chat? Anybody leave the chat? If there's not what? Oh, if Samsung is in it, you immediately leave it? Oh, they're the worst. I'm not going to lie. Never mind. I was going to ask you if you out yourself who owns a Samsung, but you don't want to do that. On the other hand, I hate them. They're miserable. I was added to a group chat by my boys, and they added me to a Snapchat group chat, a Discord group chat, a GroupMe, okay, and then a regular iMessage one. I was in 4 group chats, all by the same guys. There's 18 of them, okay? And they added me on the same day, and they just completely spam my phone. And it was the most miserable thing ever. Like literally, my phone was in my backpack, and all I heard the entire class when I was in college was and iOS created something amazing, okay, on the Apple iPhone, and it was you can leave a group chat, okay? And I was like, this is the best thing ever until they realized I left it because it says Hayden left group chat, and then they added me to another one. And then after that, they added me to another one, to another one, to another one, and I could not escape until the fact I just had to turn my phone off. Like literally had to turn my phone off, and I had to apologize to people of why I didn't respond because I turned my phone off because a bunch of my freshman boys added me to so many group chats I couldn't even use my phone. And there's just things that you can't escape, right? There's things you can't outrun. There's a lot of different things that it just seems like it's always going to follow you. Like for a lot of us, we felt like school was never going to end, right? Like there's those relationships. It's like you feel like it's never going to end, or the drama, you feel like it's never going to end. And it kind of reminds me of this story about a kid who's trying to outrun the past. He's trying to outrun his guilt. He's trying to outrun the things that are bogging him down. It's actually a story as we dive into a series this entire summer where it's campfire stories, okay? And we're just looking at different stories throughout the Bible. And this story, it's fun. It's fun is because it starts off with your typical punk kid. And this punk kid, I mean, he's just a troublemaker. And this guy is all about himself. And he's entitled. He feels like he's better than everyone. So much so that he goes up to his dad. He looks at his dad and he says, "I wish you were dead." So, hey. He's such a punk that he goes up to his dad. He says, "I wish you were dead. In fact, I want my money." Okay? I want my money. He's like, I know that I'm in the will. I know that I'm guaranteed and I'm entitled to my money and I want it right now. So the dad, if you said that to your dad, what do you think your dad would say? No. Huh? He'd laugh at you? Okay? What else? Huh? You would get beaten up. Okay? it would be immediate, like, yeah, right. And probably in that day and age, it would be like, you'd be laughed at because it's like, yeah, right. But it says that in this story, the father's heart breaks so much so that he's willing to break his entire family inheritance, his property, his business, and he just sells it. He just sells it to grant the wish of his son. And the son, he takes that money and then he just runs. And he runs to a place where all of your dreams come true, which is? Vegas. Okay? He runs to Vegas. And he runs to a place where he can just spend his wild living. What his heart desires, he gives. What he's passionate about, he dives into. What he feels like it feels good is going to give, okay? It's going to satisfy him. He dives into it. He indulges in it. And this guy just lives it up until there's a recession, until there's a famine, until there's moments where everything seems to die. And because he spent all his money, he's down in his luck and he is done. So much so, this kid is so done that he has no way of feeding himself. I was just in another country where their dogs, there's dogs everywhere. And like the country, it took care of its dogs and its cats. But it was crazy to me that these dogs were so desperate to live that they're eating trash. Like, I don't even know if it's food. Like, I'm not joking. I don't even know if what they're eating was food. And it says that this kid, he's eating trash. He's eating what the animals live in order to stay alive. And he comes to this realization where he's like, maybe my life is meant to be more than just eating trash. Like, maybe I shouldn't be eating the wrappers of a McDonald's cheeseburger. Okay? Maybe I shouldn't just be fed on the things that are keeping animals barely alive. Maybe my life is worth something a little bit more. So he thinks about when you're lonely and you're tired, what do you think about? Where do you want to be? Home. Your bed. But I love that he describes home not as a place, but as a person. And that's his father. You see, home for us, it's not necessarily a place. It's not just a bed, but it's a place where we belong. It's a place where we feel accepted. It's a place we feel known. And for him, that's his father's house. So he turns around and he starts walking. And when you know you've blown it, and you know you've messed up, you know that like you got in trouble at school and they tell you, well, hey, guess what? We're going to call your parents so when you get home, your parents know what's going on. What do you work up? What do you work on? What you're going to say, right? And you're trying to come up with the best apology ever. Here's why I messed up. Here's what's going on. Let me give you some more context. I'm sorry. You know, you're trying to work up the best apology. And that's what this kid is doing. He's working up the best apology that he can to say to his father. And then this is how the story goes. If you have your Bibles, open up to Luke chapter 15. Luke chapter 15. Luke is in the New Testament, is a gospel, which means that it's a story perspective of Jesus. And this is written by a guy named Luke. And it's Luke chapter 15. And he's writing down a story that Jesus told to a group of Pharisees who are these snobby people who think they have all the right answers of what does it mean to be a follower of God. And then he's also telling a story of these people who don't necessarily think they belong to the house of God. So there's a pretty drastic group of people. And Jesus is telling the story because he's trying to help them understand and bridge a gap between these two people. So we're in Luke chapter 15, verse 17, okay? In NineTen, if you're there, we say preach, and then we all say together. And if you need more time, you just say hold on. So we'll all say it together. My sophomores, help them out a little bit, okay? But if you're in Luke chapter 15, verse 17, say preach, preach. If you need more time, hold on. Okay, sorry. I apologize. There's nothing wrong with using your table of contents. There's also nothing wrong here with using your phone Bible. Download the Bible app. It's great. It's amazing. You set notifications where it sends you a Bible verse every single day. Nice little Devo. Take notes. It's amazing. I also love this is that in 9:10, we do something a little bit different from maybe what you're used to. But we talk about the passage on the weekend. We also talk about on Wednesday nights in your life groups. Those are just your small groups, but we talk about it in your life groups. And so we try to bridge the gap is because we want you not just to hear it, but we also want you to do something with it. And we think that's talking about it every single Wednesday night. And this Wednesday, we have a little bit of Aloha. We're going to figure out life groups, small groups, who's going to camp, how we can plug you in. So I'm excited about this Wednesday. I think it's going to be an amazing Wednesday. And I'm excited to get to know you guys. So, all right. That's my spiel on small groups. Anybody need more time? Okay, here we go. It says this. It says, when he came to his senses, this is the son, he said, how many of my father's servants have made food to spare, and I'm starving to death? I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I've sinned against heaven and against you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. So he got up and he went to his father. He's saying hired servants because he doesn't think he's deserving of what? Being a what? Being a son. He doesn't think he's worthy to come back where? Home. He doesn't feel like he's worthy to come back into the house. So he says, let me be a servant. And this idea of servant, you have to know this, is he thinks that he needs to pay off his dad in order that he can be accepted again, to be loved again. So he's like, maybe I can be a hired servant. Maybe I could go work the fields. Maybe I could do the family business. Maybe I could do the behind the scenes, the grunt work, the gross work. And maybe I could pay off the debt that I stole from my dad. So that's what he's thinking. That's what he wants to do. But it says this, in the second half of verse 20, it says, but, it's a big but, okay? But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and he's filled with compassion. Filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, he threw his arms around him and he kissed him. Okay? So this father, I mean, he is filled so much with compassion and love. It says that immediately when he saw him, what does he do? He ran. He ran. Now, if you're the son, you've been working on the apology, you think you're going to live on the outside of the complex of where the business is run, but you think you're going to work your way, hopefully, so that you can pay off your dad, and maybe you're just called a servant. And you're walking back, you're looking down, and all of a sudden, as soon as you're seen, as soon as you see the house, as soon as you see the business, who do you see running? Your dad. What message does that send to the son? He still loves you. What else? Huh? Confusion? Yeah, he's confused. Why are you running? And it's not just like running, like you got to remember this is a story that's told like 2,000 years ago. A day in the life of a dad who is this old owning his family business, he's wearing a tunic. A tunic is basically a dress. Okay? It's like goes all the way down to his ankles. So he's running, and girls, when you have a dress on and you run, what do you have to do? You have to lift it up. Okay? So imagine your dad, just picture this for a second, is wearing a tunic and he has to lift it up and he's running to you. Okay? That's the image this guy gets. So he's confused. Why is my dad running? Okay? He still loves you. What else? Why is he hugging me? Why is he kissing me? Why is he wrapping his, those big arms around him to hug him? He's like, I just walked away from you. I just rejected you. What else? Huh? He's ready to forgive him. He's ready to forgive him. If you're taking notes, this is what I love, is the Father runs first to assure us that you still belong. The Father runs first to assure us you still belong. Isn't that something that we all want to know? Is assurance of knowing that God still loves us, assurance of knowing that we're still accepted, assurance of knowing that we still belong. I'm 33 years old. I've been a Christian for as long as I can remember, and I still think to myself, man, does God still love me? Am I still really going to go to heaven? Am I really going to be called a son for the rest of my life? That's a question that I wrestle with. And this passage is, again, just an assurance saying, yes, you can bank on it, of knowing that you belong. Why? It's because I ran to you first. I wrapped my arms around you, even when you rejected me, even when you left me. I love this picture because it's such a picture of who our God is still to this day. That he's running after you. He's chasing after you. And he's always ready to wrap his arms around you. But remember, Jesus is telling the story, and who is he telling the story to? The Pharisees. And who are they? Yeah, they're mean, okay? And they're the religious snobs. They think that they're always right, right? And then there's the other side of it, and they're the what? They're the marginalized. They're the Jewish people. They feel like they don't belong. They see the Pharisees like, we'll never be like that. And they're the beneath, right? They're the lowly. And so the message that Jesus is saying is there's nobody beneath me that's worth loving. So you probably got to get a sense that Jesus is telling the story and he's looking at the Pharisees. And he says, you want to measure love, and you want to measure love to a person that you think is worth loving. As a father, do you think the son deserved his love? No. Do you think the son deserved his forgiveness? No. Do you think the son deserved this father losing his dignity because he hiked up his tunic to run after him? No. The father's like, I'm willing to look ridiculous. I'm willing to look dumb. I'm willing to have the rumors that people say, how dare you? How could you? That's unbelievable. How could you accept him back into your house? The father's like, I don't care. That's my boy. That's my son. And that's the message to the Pharisees. That's the message to the community. That's the message to the marginalized. And if you're a longtime Christian, you're like, I've heard this story before, Hayden. I know the story of the prodigal son. Let me encourage you with this. It says, is there somebody who you need to love that you feel like is beneath you? That you feel like isn't worthy? You feel like, man, they've walked away. Man, they've hurt me. Man, I don't know if I can really, truly forgive them. Or man, they're just like annoying. It's like a sibling. It's like, how could I? But this is a great reminder that as soon as we feel like someone's beneath me, maybe we're like a Pharisee. Maybe we're more like a Pharisee than we thought. And then the story keeps going on. It says, the son said to him, Father, I've sinned against you and against heaven. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Again, he reminds him, I'm not worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, quick, bring the best robe, put it on him, put a ring on his finger, sandals on his feet, bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost, but now he's found. So they began to celebrate. Let me ask you this. If you're a parent, your kid walks away from you. He says, I wish you were dead. Why do you think this dad didn't go after his son? Why didn't he chase after him? Yeah.
Because he knew that he was going to come back.
He knew he was going to come back?
He wanted him to come back on his own, not with the father forcing him to.
Yeah. When someone says, you will love me, what does that make you want to do? Not love you. Okay, right now I have a 5-year-old who is at this point, it kind of breaks my heart, okay? I'm going to be vulnerable for a second, where I try to give her hugs, okay? And she's like, don't give me a hug, Dad. I try to give her a kiss. She's like, ew, gross. I'm like, you're 5 years old. And she like resists it. And now it's kind of like this joke, but I'm like, come over here. She's like, ugh. And she like wipes it off, you know? She's like, but the more that I try to like force it on her, the more that she's willing, like she wants to push it away. Because we know that love is a choice. Love is free will. Love is something that you have to be willing to choose. I can't make my daughter force me to love you. The next time I go up to my daughter, I'm like, you will hug me. She will be like, heck no. Okay? She's a 5-year-old with an attitude, for sure. Because it doesn't work like that. But that's what the Father's trying to demonstrate. That's what he's trying to show. He says, I will wait patiently. If you're taking notes, go write it like this. The Father waits patiently because he never gives up on us. The Father waits patiently because he never gives up on us. There's a hotel chain that they have a slogan, okay? You can't put your hand up. You've already been here, okay? They have a slogan, okay, where it says, I'll leave the light on for you. Does anybody know what hotel chain that is? Commercials aren't a thing today anymore. Like, we skip them. Okay, Al, what are you?
Motel 6.
Motel 6, okay? Now, none of you probably stay at Motel 6. And if you do, no shame, okay? But if someone says to you, hey, I'll leave the light on for you. In fact, my mom used to say this when I was growing up. What does that mean? What do you think it means? Yeah.
Like, you're welcome
You're welcome anytime. And normally it was this idea that Motel 6, their customers, what they're trying to reach is the people who would come in late. They've been driving through the night. Okay, they're trying to make it to the next city. They're trying to go as long as they can, but then they get to a place where I'm too tired. I'm going to fall asleep. And normally it's an inconvenience to come at 1:30, 2:30 in the morning, right? It's like, what hotels can be like, all right, we'll show you your room. Okay, here we go. But Motel 6, their branding was like, hey, you're an inconvenience, not to us. Hey, you're a burden, not to us. Hey, you know what? You feel like you don't belong, not to us. And so we'll leave the light on. You're welcome. There is hope. You have a place. You see, when the Father says he waits patiently, what he's saying is this. He's saying, I'm waiting for you to come home. I'm waiting for you to know that you're not a burden. You're not an inconvenience. There is still hope, and I still have hope for you. In fact, I don't think the Father was responding when he saw his son. I think he was ready for his son to return. I think he was ready for his son to return. He was ready for that moment. And I love this part of it is because for a lot of us, we think that if God is silent, we think that God is absent. Right? If we don't feel like God's moving in our life, we don't hear his voice, or we don't feel like he's doing anything, we're like, God doesn't care about me. God's forgotten about me. I'm somebody who, anybody hate silence? It's the worst thing ever. I go home and I'm like, Alexa, turn on country hit radio. Or, oh wow, I just got a lot of like gross looks, okay? I feel like I'm being judged right now. Thought this was a safe place, okay? Wow. Or I turn on TV, I turn on sports, or whatever it is. I hate silence. And I feel like sometimes in my life, when I'm there and I'm like, God, where are you? I'm like, God's punishing me. He's giving me silence. But I love this story because it's a great reminder that just because God is silent in my life doesn't mean that God has forgotten about me. Sometimes it's just a reminder that I need to turn to him. Sometimes it's just a reminder that I haven't been patient enough to listen to him. Sometimes it's a great reminder for me that I haven't turned back to him. I haven't realized that I am the one who's forgotten about him. And for some of us that maybe feel like God's quiet, where is God? I haven't heard from him. Can I encourage you? When's the last time you stopped? When's the last time you paused? When's the last time you turned around? You say, God, here I am. God, here I am. And so the last thing is this, okay? I love this story because the Father restores fully because grace always goes further. The Father restores fully because grace always goes further. The Father restores fully because grace always goes further. Now, I'm not going to be judgmental. You might be judgmental because I feel judged this whole entire sermon, but I'm going to identify with this one, okay? In group projects, how many of you do the bare minimum? You get carried, okay? How many of you in here are the people who carry all the other people in the group? Okay, all right. I apologize. I'm sorry, okay? I'm the worst. I know. I'm just somebody who's like, I want to do the bare minimum. I don't want to do that much. You tell me what to do. I'll do it. I'll wipe my hands. And guess what? I'm done. Oh, yeah. The last thing I said was the Father restores fully because grace always goes further. And some of you, you're the people who do like extra. You always go further than the minimum because that's just what your heart is. You're like, you know what? The minimum isn't good enough. It's not good enough. It has to go further. I have to carry the weight. I want to demonstrate, okay, the hard work. I want to make sure it's complete, it's finished. And even you're like, some of you are like, I got to get even extra credit for it. And this is what the Father is doing. The Father is fully restoring. He's not doing the bare minimum. He's like, I'm going to go extra. Why? It's because grace is always going to outrun our sin. Grace is always going to want to outrun our sin. Grace is always going to outrun our shame. Grace is always going to outrun our brokenness. And this is what the Father's trying to do. He's like, I'm going to restore you. I'm going to put you back together. I'm going to build you to a place where you can be confident, understanding that you are known, seen, and loved by me. So much so, the Father says, I'm going to demonstrate this by giving you 3 things. What are those 3 things? Anybody remember? 1. A robe. Anybody have a robe here? Anybody ever? No? No. You do? Oh. What do you think a robe means? Come on. A bathrobe, okay. Royalty, right? There's not a lot of people who walk around in robes. I'm not going to lie. I think it's really cool when you go to a hotel and they give you a robe. I just think it's funny to like put it on. But I don't know why. It's just one of those weird things I like to do, okay? A robe, it means royalty, it means significance, it means status. There's not a lot of people who have robes. And what he does, he says, he gives them a hug, he gives them a kiss. He asks his servants, he says, get this guy a robe, get this guy his status, make this guy know that he is here and he belongs here. He puts this robe on, he says, boom, baby, you're back. You are back. And then he says, I'm going to give him a what? A ring. Now, why does he need a ring, you think? Authority? Authority for what? Does anybody know? Huh? Over things, yes. It's to do your signature. Because it's authority that you have the family name and you approve something. We have signatures, right? You ever get to like write your mom's name on the credit card? Right? Or the receipt for the credit card? No? I always thought it was super fun. I'd draw like a caterpillar or something like that. I'm like, sorry, Mom, your signature is a caterpillar today. But it's the family approval. It's the family stamp. Who gets the family approval? Who gets the family stamp? A son. Not a servant. Not a hired hand, but a son. It's this reminder that you're not a servant. You're not just a hired hand. You are my son. You thought you had to earn your way back to be called my son? No, I just grant it to you. Why? Because that's what grace does. It goes further. And then the last thing that he gives them is what? Sandals, some Birks, right? Some nice Birks, some good Birks. Okay, some Jesus sandals. Some Jesus sandals. And this one's a little bit different, but this is a symbol. This is a symbol of you have a new way to walk in. You have a new life to walk in. You see, when you experience grace, you then walk in grace. When you experience grace, you're supposed to walk in grace. You see, because Jesus isn't about just adding himself to your life, but he's about transforming your life. About transforming your heart so that it loves like him, transforming your mind so it sees things like him. It's transforming your soul and knowing that you have assurance, that you don't have to question or doubt who God is. He says, I've given you a new calling. So let this be an encouragement that even when you run, the Father runs faster, even if he's old. Okay? But he runs faster. And he runs faster with grace, with love, with acceptance, with a belonging, even though we feel like it might have guilt or shame or rejection. Because his goal and his mission is to restore what was lost. And you and me, we were lost. But now we're found by the Father, who is still very, very much alive today. God, we thank you so much. God, we thank you that you're a God who still loves us, even when we don't deserve it. God, will you remind us of that love, of that acceptance, of that truth? God, will you continue to work in our hearts to make sure that that is something that we can be assured of, that we can be confident we can stand in? And God, if there's some of us in this room that we feel like we're running and we're running the opposite way of you, God, will you just give us that permission to stop and to realize that we don't have to run in that direction, but we can turn around. We can already know that you're running at us, that you were there, and that you're just waiting for us to come home. So God, will you continue to soften our hearts to realize that we're always belonging in the home of you, because that's where we're meant to be. Home is not a place, but it is a person, and it is you, Father. So we love you because you first loved us. We pray all these things in your name. Amen. All right, homies, we will see you this Wednesday for Aloha NineTen. We cannot